was that, bro? What an idiot, dude.
I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you. My heart goes out to you. It is thanks to you that the future of civilization is assured.
Dude, what is he even talking about? The future of civilization is assured. It's so dumb. The future of civilization, like, what is Trump gonna do, bro? This isn't even original, guys. This shit isn't original. Let's go. You can go back to Laura Ingraham, bro. She did this years ago, dude. This was in 2016, boss. She did it long before Elon Musk did. Was not original at all. It doesn't surprise me at all. I don't know. I guess for me, like, I'm not feeling outraged. I'm not. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but I'm operating a little differently this time. In 2016, I got all like tense and stressed out. And now I'm kind of looking at it a little differently where, you know, realize that we have a fight. We knew we were going to have a fight, and I'm ready for it. I'm ready to, like, dive in and take no prisoners. And, I mean, it's hard, though, because, of course, I am from a very protected group, so I am not harmed by this shit. So I realize I probably am able to have a detachment that a lot of people can't have. And if you can't have that sense of detachment, I get it. I get it. I know that many people are going to go through this a lot more than I am, but I feel like I need to fight. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to get sad about it, fighting these motherfuckers. I'm not surprised by any of this, though. I'm a little sad that we live in a country where a whole bunch of my fellow citizens decided to vote for this, and they think it's funny and cool, and they're not concerned about the people that are getting harmed. And they, in fact, are relishing in the idea that people they're angry at for whatever, using some pronouns or something, they feel like now they're going to extract retribution. But I do want to share something with you guys, okay? And I don't know if this will help, but I want to talk to you a minute about my personal experience of having been sexually abused. You know, I've told you the story before about how I was sexually abused in like first and second grade by two older half brothers. And it harmed my life, okay? It complicated it. It led to alcoholism, a lot of promiscuous sexual behavior, a lot of time being lost. Eventually, I got into therapy. I did EMDR, and I healed that wound. But let me tell you guys, the two half brothers that molested me have had it infinitely worse. It's not excusing them, and I'm not glorifying their position, but I was able to heal, and I was able to like make peace with the event. But both of them, they never will, man. They never will. And even after I confronted them, I walked away from it knowing that I'm going to have a good life, and I am going to change the energy of what they did to me. And I'm going to turn it into shit that's really powerful and helpful for the world. And they are going to be stuck in their misery no matter what happens for the rest of their fucking life. They are in a prison of their own making. And I feel like this is really, really similar. No matter how much money these guys make, no matter how much destruction they wreak, they are going to be forever miserable. They're going to forever need to behave like this. Like Elon needing to do this to get some rise out of the people, to get some feeling of like impact, when he's like the richest man in the world. It's like really pathetic and sad that the richest man in the world has to engage in this to desperately claw for some type of like satisfaction. But he's never going to get it. And we're going to suffer at the hands of these guys, but we're going to be able to heal. And we're going to continue carrying like empathy and compassion and the advancement of society out into the world. And this guy will have $50 trillion in wealth and a slave colony on Mars. and he will still be empty. And like, that's the victory, is knowing that the abusers carry a type of emptiness and a type of shame that is like, it haunts them. This shit haunts them. They're so pathetic.
But in regard to his speech, you know, I think that what Trump does really well is he actually listens to the concerns of the American people.
Dude, please. Oh my God, bro. Listens to the concerns of the American people. Dude, he does not, man. Oh my God, bro.
For years indicated that the majority of Americans were concerned about inflation, concerned about undocumented immigration. And while the Democrats...
Dude, he ran on immigration. He ran on the same shit the first time. What are we talking about? He ran on immigration in 2016, and there wasn't a huge problem. He ran on the same thing, and he ran on the threat of, if Hillary wins, we're going to have a depression. That is such bullshit. There was worldwide global inflation, and the Republicans in Congress didn't want to help Biden do anything to fix it. They had an immigration bill that was very right-wing, more right-wing than any of the Democrats wanted. But they capitulated, and then Trump killed it. He is an absolute con man who broke the law and was exclusively running and lying and saying whatever he could. Lies about transing your kids, promises of cutting your bills in half, all kinds of lies. You know, racial shit, just to stay out of jail. But for her to give Trump this wizardry of, oh, he's back there hearing what the American people want and responding to them, unlike the Democrats that are the elitists, that are aloof and only like beholden to their donors. But Donald Trump's not beholden to the motherfucker who paid $1 million a day to get him elected and who gave him $280 million and who's threatening to primary the whole fucking Congress. Like, you, Anna! You! Jesus!
Tend to think that this strategy of denying and pretending it doesn't happen or isn't happening is somehow a successful strategy. It clearly is not. He pays attention to what people are concerned about, and he speaks to those issues. And I really hope that this is a teachable moment for the Democratic Party. So far, I've seen them...
Hold on. We do have to say something here, because she says he's a genius.
You're a parent, and your son leaves the house, and you say, Jimmy, I love you so much. Go have a good day in school. And your son comes back with a brutal operation. Can you imagine you're a parent, and your son...
Right? Yeah. Okay. He's really responding to the American people. He's just making shit up, bro.
Our opponents are using government schools to indoctrinate children, pushing radical transgender ideology on children, and changing the child's gender without even parental consent. Can you imagine that? Your child leaves for school and comes home and their gender has been changed. I don't want to get into the details, but it's not even believable. Without parental
Yeah, you're right. It is not even believable. It's not fucking happening, right?
Your child goes to school and they take your child. It was a he and comes back a she. And they do this.
And they do this.
And they do it. And often without parental consent. Can you even believe we're saying this?
This is the guy that's so honest and that is, you know, really in touch with the issues. Like, oh shit. I had 3 boys. They came home from school. Now I have 3 girls. Oh shit. Trumpy, help. Dude, what are we talking about?
Refuse to take any personal responsibility for their failures and foibles.
I don't think
in this
they've
past
learned,
election
honestly.
cycle.
Yeah, honestly, and I don't see any evidence so far that Democrats have learned a damn thing. I really don't. I've been seeing some of the stuff you've been saying, which is the right way to go. And Cenk, you as well, has been saying similar stuff, which is, look, you have to recognize what's happened here. And you have to understand American people just did not buy into anything that were being sold by the Democrats. In fact, they just moved in big...
Dude, he won by 1.4%. Where are they getting this? The American people just fucking right 1.4%. And only because Elon was paying $1 million a day in swing states, getting a whole bunch of fucking rubes to go out and vote that wouldn't have otherwise voted. And after, a year of like far lefties smearing Kamala Harris and trying to fracture the Democratic Party over Gaza, a lot of shit that Piers helped push too to fracture the Democratic Party. And they still won by only 1.4%. That was like the worst showing of any win I've seen in my lifetime, short of the, Jeb Bush using the courts to give his brother the victory back in 2000. I mean, let's be honest here. This was a shit win. Trump barely eked across the finish line. And they're acting like this was America, like 80% to 20%, just going, go Trump. It's like, no, dude, they were shady from top to bottom, and Trump barely eked it out, and Kamala only had 3 months to campaign with a fractured party that had been exploited, the Gaza situation, with Trump working with Bibi to make sure that Biden gets his nose rubbed in it the whole time, and they barely eked it out. Like, please, fuck you, Maga. You guys, if you know what I'm saying, you got luckier than fucking shit. You don't have a mandate. Fuck you. Most of America pisses on you, motherfucker.
If you're a homophobe, you don't do that.
Dude, if you're a homophobe, you don't dance with the village people. Dude, that's bullshit. It's your policies that determine your shit. Racists can be friends with black people. Homophobes are more than likely going to have one gay person that is close to them. The problem isn't like, you don't have there's no gay person. How can you be a homophobe? It's this, Piers, and you white supremacists on this panel. The problem is Donald Trump goes and lies about that trans shit that we saw the clips of. And he goes and says there's only 2 genders and, you got to use the assigned sex at birth bathroom and they'll pass these laws. And then a transgender woman like Blair White or Sophia Hutchins or Caitlyn Jenner, those transgender women will go to Mar-a-Lago and they will be allowed to be women there. And they will use the ladies' room and everybody will welcome them as women. They will not call Caitlyn Jenner Bruce. They will not dead name her. They won't. Because the fact of the matter is they do believe transgender women are women as long as they are hateful in the same way, as long as they are united in throwing the group under the bus. But Donald Trump opened the door for trans women to be able to be in beauty pageants. He's stood up for them. And he still hangs out with trans women. But they have 2 different standards. They have a standard for the trans women that are in their little, white supremacist political club. And then the trans women that are everybody else. And that is the problem. That is the dissociation, because they're not honest about it. And all this is meaningless.
I don't think that Donald Trump is going to go after gay marriage. I don't think he's going to go after gay people. He didn't do it in his first term. He didn't even attempt to in his first term. So
again, of course, they're not going to do it in their first term, but they are going to go after gay marriage. The Heritage Foundation, who put him in office, they're definitely going after gay marriage.
There's no reason to believe that he will in his second term. I think the allegations of him being homophobic are kind of ridiculous. I do think that there is some fear that, everyone keeps talking about how his re-election is the end of wokeism, but it really depends on how Donald Trump governs, how he leads in the next 4 years, because...
Dude, there's not ever going to be an end of wokeism, guys. There never will. Transgender people, gay people, evolutions in gender and sexuality and all that, it's going to keep going on. It's like saying there's going to be an end of technology. It's not going to happen. AI's here. Sorry, shit's getting blown out. Gender, the change has already happened. It's already happened. There's non-binary people. There are transgender people in Congress. It's fucking done, bro. You can claw and scratch and pass your laws, make your little executive orders, even take power for 4, 8, 10, 12, 20 years. Doesn't matter. It's already out of the bag. It's going to change. It's going to continue to change. There will be a time 40 years from now where men can have a uterus implanted in them and have babies. It's like this shit is not going back. I know they're trying to because Trump is from that old guard. He's 80 years old. But dude, in 40 years, all of the people that were alive during segregation are going to be dead. Every one of them will be dead as shit. Dude, we're going to be in a brand new AI-driven reality. Like, it's already over. Trump is like, it's not the end of wokeism. Trump is the death rattle of that Christian-controlled hierarchy. It's just the death rattle.
If he does intend to go after vulnerable communities and literally do these mass deportations of people, including people who might have been here for decades and never committed any other crimes other than being here in the country illegally, I think that that will further empower people who want to focus
that's not
on
really
these
what
identity
that's not really,
issues,
but
on
on
these
that,
social issues.
So essentially, I just think all the signals coming out of the Trump world are that is not really where the targeting is going to be.
Dude, that's fucking bullshit. They've talked about it. I've said from the beginning, the immigration raids are going to be aimed at blue states. I think they're going to try and harm the economies of the blue states. I think that is what we're going to see in a major way.
Until recently, there's a million people. There are a million illegal immigrants who have already been processed for deportation, who just haven't been deported. And I suspect that almost all Americans I know would be like, well, why are they still here? So he'll start with those, and then he'll move on to those who are criminals. I think most Americans I know, from the ones I've talked to, from any political persuasion, all agree that if you're a criminal, illegal immigrant, well, what are you doing in America? So there's plenty of people in those categories to start with, aren't there?
Yeah, and to be fair, I mean, Tom Homan has been saying repeatedly that their so-called mass deportation is going to focus on the very individuals that you're referring to. So it really depends. And, you know, Donald Trump tends to say things that sound harsh, that sound kind of hateful time to time, and that further empowers the wokeism. But the thing I really want to focus on, just briefly, if I may, is what you brought up in regard to the tech bros, the tech CEOs who are very present at this inauguration. You know, I am curious to see how this kind of unfolds in regard to the priorities of Maga, the America First crowd, versus these tech bros. Because I agree with Joe Walsh. These are individuals who don't really have an ideology. They're not ideologues. They're just looking for cookies. They're corporate CEOs who are looking for favorable policies that will help them maximize profits. But oftentimes, those are the policies that run counter to what America First MAGA voters want. I think the whole debacle with the H-1B visas is a good example of that. So that's what I'm looking out for in this presidency. And I'm curious to see if the America First crowd holds Donald Trump accountable if he engages in what I think he's really good at, which is a transactional type of presidency. You know, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. These are people who funded his inauguration and his campaign to the tune of tens of millions of dollars.
So hundreds of millions of dollars. Come on, Anna. Let's be honest. But you notice whenever Anna is in a right-wing environment on a right-wing show, she's not like mad at them. Right? She will defend them like Trump isn't so bad. Trump isn't this. Trump isn't that. It's way overblown. But she cannot talk about a Democrat without catastrophizing. If she mentions like Joe Biden or Gavin Newsom, oh my God. If she talks about Gavin Newsom, it is as though there are aliens like trying to rip her organs from her fucking body. She cannot even like think about Gavin Newsom without, you know, the psycho theme playing. She is just always so perturbed and upset. She like hates the Democrats. She hates them. And they're supposedly her own party. Like, to me, that's always been the dividing line. Like, when I see a progressive who hates Democrats, I know that they're not really a progressive. They're not, because if you're a real progressive, you believe in making progress, but you know that the Democratic Party is not a progressive party. They are a party apparatus that is available and functional. It is a political apparatus that is open to progressive ideals more than the other side, but it's not a progressive party. So there's no reason to be mad and resentful at the Democrats. Like, if you look at the two parties, you're not going to convince the Republicans to be progressive, but you can convince the Democrats. That's really the difference. And yes, her saying the so-called mass deportation, like, dude, again, she would never give Kamala Harris the benefit of any doubt on anything. Anything Kamala Harris said would be word for word, letter to letter, holding her responsible for every fucking mistake. But Trump's been talking about mass deportations. They were holding up the signs. And he's like, oh, they're not really going to do that. But yeah, she is 100% a Republican. Always been guided by resentment. These shows, like a show like Piers Morgan and all these right-wing shows, what I call it is anti-Democrat porn. That's what it is. These right-wing shows, it's like pornography for them. They get off on having Democrats come on there and shit on the Democratic Party and like, oh yeah, yeah, you right? And everything we feel about the Democrats, look, one of their own is agreeing with us. We are right. We are right. Everything we feel about the Democrats. And then they go jerk off to it. Right? They go and jerk off to their anti-Democrat porn, dude.
We'll see how that plays out. And I think that's what people should be focusing on.
I think it's really interesting. The whole thing with Steve Bannon on one side, railing against these guys. Elon Musk seemingly joined at the hip with Trump. All the others going down there today.
Yeah, but they do all share the 𝗙cie𝗶𝗏. That's it. No matter how mad Bannon gets at Musk, Musk has the money. Bannon's whatever. He has the lack of brain cells, but they all love their fucking Nazi salutes. And that's the glue that holds them together. Look at him, though. They're so miserable, these guys.
Thank you, sir. The next item here is the withdrawal from the Paris Climate Treaty.
Dude, why are they clapping for that? You know what I'm saying? Like, isn't that, like, baffling? It's so crazy when you think about it, right? I mean, look at this shit, bro. You know what I mean? That's 2017. Here's fucking 2025. Like, bro, I don't really know what to say because I am astonished that anybody would vote for this fucking guy. But now that they did, they're going to suffer the consequences of their decision. And we all are. But rest assured, knowing that the people who chose him are going to suffer as much, if not more, than everybody else. And what's more is they're not even going to be happy, guys. I know they have cried about Biden and this, that, and the other, and now he's signing all their executive orders, but they're going to wake up tomorrow, dude, and they're going to still be miserable. They're not ever going to be happy. So know that even though they're getting supposedly what they want, there's still a bunch of miserable fucking hillbillies.